I'm just waiting for the camera to catch up. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. We're going to have some Halloween fun tonight. There we go. See, my camera's live over there. Let's see. I think this is what I'm going to use. So we're going to make a Halloween card tonight. And I think I know what I'm going to do, but I think it's going to work. Just wait another minute or so. Hi, Ellen. How are you? I'm going to get started with cutting my card panel. I just have a slimline card panel that I keep a bunch of them done. And I want to cut that down to match my card base. So we're going to cut down to 6 1/4. Hi, Cherie. Hi, Kate. Good evening, everyone. And we are at 3 1/2. So my card panel tonight is going to be 3 inches by 5.75, 5 3/4. It is a good night. It's starting to rain here. It's going to rain for a couple of days. So we're going to make, I'm sure you guys have seen things like this before, a mummy card tonight, and we'll see how things go, if we have time for some other items. But I have a pre-cut card base here, and I just took a mini slimline card and cut this down to 3 inches by 5.75. And my card base is 3 1/4 by 6. And we're just going to do that. So what I have here is I have some of the fiber paper, and I did a test to make sure I could tear it, because that was kind of the point. And we're going to tie it up, and we're going to make a mummy card and just wrap it up. So I thought that would just kind of be fun, and I wanted to kind of play with the fiber paper a little bit. So I'm just going to take it and tear it up, and then we're going to get it inky. I think you could get it inky ahead of time if you wanted different colors, but I don't know if I want what colors I want. So that's why I thought I'd tear it up ahead of time. I'm just going to tear it in a bunch of strips. I also have a piece of aqua pigment paper here I thought we could throw in. Hi, Cheryl and Charlie. How are you guys? Welcome. So the weather has finally changed here in Iowa, and we are on full fall. 30-degree mornings and about 60-degree days. So I saw some frost this morning on the ground. So that means the leaves are going to be changing, and that makes me super happy. So this may turn into a birthday card because my daughter's birthday is on Monday, and I do need to mail her a card. So I'm just going ahead and tearing these up. I'm not measuring. I'm just tearing up into lots of little strips. And then we're going to ink them up and make them different colors. And I'm going to tear this last little piece off because I don't want an edge. So this little tiny piece. Hello, Lisa. I'm going to throw this away, that little piece. So we've got a bunch. And so like I said, I don't think this is going to be quite enough to cover the whole panel. If you see where I'm going here with this. And it's close, but I think we're going to go ahead. And this is the fiber paper, Ellen. It's a fiber paper that we sell in the store. I don't have, my tablet doesn't allow me to do links. So if somebody comes on and can do a link, otherwise I will link it down below tomorrow. But it's just this, I don't have a sheet with the cover on it, but it's just the fiber paper. And it can be dyed. I used it on one of my cards and things. I guess it would be kind of like an old mulberry paper, but I don't know if you can, get it because it's white. It's kind of hard to see up close. We call it fiber paper in the store. So, but I thought maybe we would also grab some of the aqua pigment paper because that holds some fun color too. And we're just going to do some tearing. I'm going to just leave this piece off, and we'll tear off some other strips because that'll add some fun texture, I thought. And it's just wide enough that it'll cover my mini slimline cards. So my daughter loves Halloween, so I was kind of inspired by her and her birthday to go ahead and play with this And I got some of the fiber paper with the tailored release, and I thought that would be fun. I will have some of the vintage sprays that I can play with next week. They are on their way to me. I think they'll be here maybe Saturday, but I'm thinking Monday. So I'm just going to tear a bunch of pieces up. So I think, like I said, you could color these up ahead of time. I'm going to go ahead and color them up because a mummy is kind of dirty, but it doesn't tend to be super white. So I'm going to go ahead and do each one a little bit different so we have different textures. I'm not worried about them wrinkling. So I got some creases in my paper. Throw those little tiny scraps away. You could also use, if you have any kind of old distressor tool. Oops, I must have used that with some red paper, that section. And you could de-stress the edges a little bit. This is an old, close to my heart one that I've had for a long time. But I like the tearing. It reminds me of bed sheets that you would tear up if you needed to wrap somebody up. So, okay. So I have a variety of inks. Hello, Lori Gordon. I have a variety of inks. If you have distress inks, you could use the Reeve Detail ink. I have some Simon Hurley inks, and I thought we'd just make some fun. I also grabbed some chroma mists, and we're just going to play a little bit and see how things go. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the aqua pigment. Well, no, I think I'm going to start with the fiber paper because I don't know if many people have seen this before. I've only played with it a few times in the past, and then I did make some the other day that was fun. I'm going to see about just doing it on, do I have any paper towels? I don't. So I'm just going to use a piece of copy paper so you can see it on the black. I have an order here from a British Mineral order. I'm just going to save that and we'll use that. So I think we're going to do a couple of different versions. We'll do some with the Distress inks and some with the Simon Hurley inks. I grabbed all grays and browns. So let's get my grays over here. Same thing with the Distress Oxide. I have like antique lignin and gathered twigs. So let's start with the Brutus Monroe. Or not the Brutus, the Simon Hurley, I'm sorry. I've got some brushes here. And I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to play with it a little bit, see what we think. This one's the Gur, which is a medium brown. I'd say the tan or light brown is the cookie dough and the dark brown is the weeping willow. And we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to ink it up on the edges just to kind of make it dirty and see what we think, what we like. So I know not everyone celebrates Halloween, but it is one of my favorite times of year, Halloween and Christmas. Both my kids, my daughter was born near, like I said, her birthday's next week, and my son was born near Christmas. So it just makes me, and I'm not a Halloween movies person so much. Like, I'm not a scary movie person. I like the fun ones like Halloween Town and the Disney ones and, Hocus Pocus, things like that. But I'm not big on the scary ones. I don't like those too much. So here is just a little bit of that. I'll bring that up a little closer so you can see the difference between the white and the, let's see if we can bring it up on. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe, do I have a dark piece of paper here I can show you? Here, I'll grab some Raven ink, a Raven paper. That will maybe show it better. So here is the fiber paper, plain. And here is with the Gur. So you see how it's just a little bit dirty. It took just a little bit of that color, and I think that's kind of fun. But we're going to do a bunch of different ones so that we have different colors on each. So next, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wolf, which is a gray, and we're going to go direct to paper, which in this case is direct to fiber paper. And I'm just going to kind of rub it on there. And then I'm guessing I don't have, I guess I used two of the same. That's fine. I don't have, so that got it really dark. I don't know if you can kind of see that here on the corner. So I know when you put it down on against the white, we're going to see it. But I do want to kind of make it a little bit darker because I want a couple pieces to be very, 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 very dark, like very dirty. So I've got that piece. Let's do actually get another one just so we have more than one. Hi, Lisa. I I've had a great day so far. It was a quiet day, but it's been a great day. I hope you're staying dry. Saw some storms down your direction. So I'm just playing with a little bit of the fiber paper and making up like a mummy card for Halloween. And so there's some direct paper with the wolf to create. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to tone it down just a little bit. All right, so we've got a couple of those, and you can kind of tell when you look on the other side. So we've got we've got a brown. I think I'm going to do one more with that gur and the brush, just so I have two of the same color, and then we'll get some with wet. You love that's awesome. You find a new haunted house or an amusement park every year. If you don't go that day, I have a boatload of stuff for kids. That's, I am not too much into the Halloween haunted houses. I get scared way too easy and freak out. I think I was talking about that last week where I think it's because I had a bad experience as a kid in a really, really, really good haunted house. And I didn't quite understand. And the funny part about this haunted house is what really did it for me. Well, first of all, my cousin was pretending to like shadow box with them. And I kept thinking, the werewolves are going to eat you. But the very first scene was from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And they had chainsaws. And I was in elementary school, not super little, but little enough to know that I didn't know they didn't have chainsaws on them. I just heard that sound and it freaked me out. But at the very end, Dracula had these fake nails and he just reached out and just touched my skin with his nails and I was done. I ran and I was out of there. But I'd never seen a scary movie before, so I think that was part of it. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my splat box here. I'm going to try to do it backwards so you guys can see it better. And I'm going to throw a couple of these pieces in and I'm going to do a couple of the and we're just going to play a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of the copper. You're welcome. I'm so glad. Hi, Donna. Hi, Nancy. I didn't see you guys there. Hi, Joanne. I miss you too, Joanne. I know I couldn't make it last week. Lisa, that Lisa Gordon, that was the Minnesota State Fair one. And so it was in August. But there's one near Cedar Rapids I went to, Hi Tia. That people jumped out at and it just freaked me out. So I'm just using a little bit of the sunset. This is the copper shimmer. And I'm just going to spray a little bit on because it does take that color really, really well. And I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow. No, I'm going to grab the sunset. Sorry I couldn't make it last week, Joanne. I was under the weather, so I'm glad I didn't want to come and get you guys sick. But I've had a little bit of a cold. So this one's a little bit brighter. So I'm just going to tone it down with a little bit of water. So there's nothing you can spray on these. I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer. Oops, I just sprayed myself. I just have shimmer mist all over my clothes. That's kind of funny. And I missed it. But I'm okay with that. So we got a lot of that. And then I got a little bit of silver here this is just some silver aqua pigment I threw in a bottle. And I'm going to throw that on there. And then this is just kind of the fun part about stuff like this, is you can just kind of make it messy. So this is a very messy couple pieces here. And that's why I keep this splat box. This is from an old Create Your Own Ending event. And I'm going to pull these out here. I'm going to put them down here so we can see we have some fun colors. So there's a couple more fun colors. And I've got spray on all sorts of stuff because I sprayed the wrong direction. So let's kind of wipe that up quick. And then I think we're going to get even a little bit more messy. I'm gonna just set these kind of off to the side to dry here. And what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you knew this, but Simon Hurley, or we're gonna use some of the distressings. I forgot that. We were gonna do that. Let's grab some gathered twigs. Susan, I didn't know if I would tear up like that for sure. I figured it would, but I thought, let's just play with it. I've only played with it a little bit, and colored it. I have a piece of peak fiber in there. This is the gathered twigs. I just added some water, and I thought this would just be a fun way to do something a little different with this. And this is gonna be super dark, but um, I'm just gonna paint with it a little bit and see what happens. I'm gonna grab some water and just kind of brush it around a little bit. It really takes the color really, really well. And then maybe to lighten this up, we'll spray it with I'm going to take some of this, the Pearl Shimmer Mist, and paint it over the top, which will give it kind of a fun color. But I thought it adds a lot of fun texture is what it is. And if I don't glue it down all the way, which is my goal, is to kind of leave just the middle. It is, Donna, it's called fiber paper, and it was about the size of, it's just a little bit bigger than a 8 or by a 2 card size, and it was white, and I tore it up. So I don't, like I said, I have a tablet, not a computer, so I cannot grab a link, unfortunately. And I learned the wrong way that if I put links in, it goes in the description. So I will definitely link it. I will see if I can link it tonight as soon as we are done. Down in the description, at least for the fiber paper. I will link everything else tomorrow, but I will try to. It's really fun. It's got just a nice little texture to it, and I just tore it apart and thought it'd be fun to use, and I mean, with this release, I used a bunch of sprays, and then I used the I See a Pattern stamp and stamped it all over, and it kind of made it look like a vintage pattern, which I thought was fun. I think I want to add a little bit of antique linen to the top of to this as well, because that's a little bit lighter. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it on. And then when we're all done, maybe we'll add a little bit of brown or gray, because, I just want a bunch of different colors. Okay, so we may have to dry some of these pieces before we can glue them on. Okay, I've got two more pieces here. Add a little bit more. And then we're gonna add a little gray to this one, I think. Let's do some pumice stone. So I guess you could just spray it. The vintage sprays would be perfect for this. Like I said, if you wanted to make a mummy type card. Okay, the pumice stone is not looking super gray, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of the black soot in there, because I do want it to be there we go, a little dirtier. I don't really want it to be super white, because a mummy isn't usually super white, but it doesn't have to be all uniform in color. This is a very unforgiving color and texture type thing. Like I said, you could just dip it in a little bit to make some color. All right, we got one more. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time with this one. I think we need a little more black soot here. And then we're going to start trying to put some of it together and see. The other paper I have here is just aqua pigment paper. I do like aqua pigment paper over, I do use other watercolor paper, but I do like the aqua pigment paper because it does hold up really well, and it's thinner. So it's easy to tear and do fun stuff with. So I'm doing pumice stone and a little bit of black soot together. So it's kind of dirty, but not super dirty. A little bit more. I haven't used my Distress Oxides. You could use inks, I am assuming, as well. I don't have a lot of inks, but I like the oxides because it gives it more of that chalky look. I mean, they would work too. They'd just be brighter. If you have just distress sprays would also work like this with it too, because I think they're the same colors. All right, so we've got that. Now we need to ink up just a little bit of the aqua pigment paper, and then we got to dry a little bit of it. Now this is where, like I said, you could make a couple different color full panels, but I think it'll be fun to just do a little bit of, just trying to decide what colors to use here. Um, just a little bit here and there. So this is the Simon Hurley. This one is Wolf. They are water reactive, so I can do a little bit of water in there. I think I'm going to add a little bit of this cookie dough. And we're just going to kind of mix them together here. And we're just going to paint them on and try to get some dirtiness on there. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I don't need them super wet. You can use either side, the side with the tears or the side without the tears. I'm trying not to worry too much about the ends because the ends are going to be cut off. So this side maybe we'll do without the tears. So nothing super fun, but just a fun, this wouldn't be too hard to, you could use regular paper, especially if you don't make them super thick, like just use cardstock. Use cardstock scraps that, you know, maybe you have a little ink on them or things like that, that it would work too if that's what you have in your stash. I think we'll go throw a little chroma mists. I'm just playing with a bunch of different of our mediums here to make it kind of fun and dirty. You know, if you accidentally make a mess on a cardstock, this would be a great way to use it up. All right, let's add a little bit more Wolf. Add a little bit more cookie dough. And I'm not cleaning my brush or anything. I'm just a little bit of water. I'm mixing a little bit of that chroma mist in there with get those colors. I'm just going to do extra pieces so that I have some extra pieces. And then we'll clean up our desk really good. So, all righty. There we go. So I hope everyone that's got their boxes, I think Christopher said the other day there was a couple boxes left. I don't know if they got sold out or not. Halloween boxes, and in getting ready for that, or their advent calendar, and have been playing along their Halloween advent calendar. So I'm not sure. Do a lot of you, do some of you guys, I know a couple people last week were talking about they don't make Halloween cards much. And, you know, I don't always make Halloween cards. I should. I like to, but I don't send them out too much. And I think that's the problem. I should. I love to make them, but then I'm like, well, then I have all these Halloween cards that I can't really do anything with. So I do need to send them out because they're just can be fun. I like the kind of more cutesy Halloween cards stuff, not the and traditional, but I've been trying to just play around a little bit and go outside the box and do other things. Okay, so there we got some really dark colors on that one. Oh, Shirley, I am not in the office. So I'm actually not even in Pittsburgh. I am in Iowa. So that I'm not boxing live this time. That was on Monday. Next time Monday. So unfortunately, I cannot pull your order. um, so you can check on Monday with them. You you make them all year long and typically give them away. I need to do more of it. Last year I went through a bunch. I had a bunch of Halloween cards, and I gave a bunch of them to my daughter so she could give them out because she loves Halloween so much. Now I'm gonna quick grab. These are kind of wet. And I'm gonna quick grab my heat tool here and add just a little bit of heat to these to dry them so they'll cook. I've got really really. This one's really dark, but that's okay. Just gonna hit them so that when I go to glue them. Oh, at the bottom of my screen. Okay, so that, I'm not sure what that's scrolly from. That is left over from Monday. So I'm not sure how to take care of that. Let me see. Um, you'll have to forgive me. That might be left over from Monday, and I don't know how to take that over. Thank you for pointing that out for me. I'll have to find out. Um, I don't know if there's a way to change that. I don't know how to take that off, guys. So I apologize. I will find out. Um, nope, that's not it. I don't want to do that. Okay. I am going to get away from that because I don't know. Maybe here. Here. Did that turn? I don't know if that turned it off. Okay. And hide. There we go. I got it. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, go back to the captions. Um, Chat. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't even see that. Sorry about that, Shirley. I will make a comment. I will let them know, the girls in the office know about that. Um, they were doing that on Monday, and I will tell them that you did add that to my live screen and see if they can do something to help you out. I will text them tomorrow. Okay, Shirley? I will make sure I get that order. Shirley, I will try to get that. Um, See if I can have them add something to that from like what they were doing on Monday. So, okay, that is still a little wet. We got to dry it a little more. I apologize. I don't like to usually dry on. You're welcome, Shirley. I didn't see that before. I'm still learning the streaming software. Woo! Hey, don't heat your paper too much because it will start to melt. I could see it. Did you see some smoke coming up there? It melted a little bit because I got a little too hot. So I do not recommend you heating it too much. It will work for our card. Okay, so here is what I got. I'm not worried about, I've got some dots on it. This is my background. We're gonna go ahead and just lay some papers on here, and then we're gonna glue them down. So here's that one that I kind of burnt up a little bit. I'll put a couple of those brown ones together. We're just gonna lay them all over. I got some more over here. And I'm gonna tuck some of these in here. And do you see where I'm kind of going with this? See how it's kind of gonna look like a mummy? So now I think we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna start gluing things down. But I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and put a bunch of tape runner down. Okay, my tape runner's acting up tonight. What's going on here? Let's twist that up. There we go. And then we can use some liquid glue to make sure it attaches really, really, really well. All right. And then we got to come up with some eyeballs. Thanks. I do have googly eyes. I also have some stickers that aren't quite googly eyes, but I do have googly eyes. Let me grab them, Ellen. Give me a minute. I'm a scrapbooker to start, so I have a whole bunch of googly eyes in this corner. So I have tiny googly eyes. We have big googly eyes. We have colored googly eyes. So we'll get some googly eyes on there. Okay, we'll do that for eyes. I was thinking of cutting them out with paper, but we'll do googly eyes. I haven't done that in a long time. So we're just going to go ahead and start laying some down and make sure they kind of, now this one had an edge to it. Like I didn't tear the other side. So I think we're going to make sure we get that covered up really well. I'm just going to put that piece down, and I'm just kind of randomly putting on pieces of the tape or the fiber paper. Can't talk tonight. And the aqua pigment paper. And we're just going to random put them all over. And I do have googly eyes. You know, it's funny. I'm sure I bought them. I don't know where I got them from, but my niece is a huge googly eye. So here's where I was going to say I melted this one a little bit. So because I got it way too close to my heat gun. And that's okay. Um, but I don't use them that often. I should. I just don't. So I'm just putting them down on here. We're just going to put them a bunch down, and then we'll go back through and add some liquid glue where pieces are sticking up. I think this is just kind of fun. And add a piece of this. I've got it random. I mean, some sides, some pieces, I know where there it was. Oops, I feel like we got a lot going this way. Let's put a couple pieces in this way. I'll put it in this way. All right. So now we're going to go through and I'm going to use my Barely Art glue and I'm going to find the plot spots that aren't really sticking. So this isn't too difficult of a card, just kind of for some fun and a kind of a fun way to make some extra texture on your card, things like that. Now I don't have, most of the fiber paper is below. It's not all on top. Some of it's on top. I think I used it all up, but you could go in with more. I do have a few pieces on the top here. I want to make sure that don't get covered up. You could use some vellum as well, if you have vellum. But like I said, this fiber paper has been really fun to play with. I'm going to need to put some on order and get some more. You do want to make sure it's good and dry, just like any paper. It won't really stick. If I have to, I can go back afterwards and do some more. So we've kind of got the basis of our card here. So now we're going to go through. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my scissors to trim off the edges instead of my paper trimmer, just because I've got a couple of layers of thickness. I'm going to cut that a little bit off on the end down here. It's okay if you don't cut it perfect because of, especially the fiber paper, because it is a mummy. And this is one where if your fingers get a little dirty and you get muck on your card, it's okay. Like I can feel it on my fingers. They're not super clean. I'm going to go ahead and cut the top off here. And then we'll go through and see where we need to add some more. I'll add some of these fun ends. You planned it as a demonstration for charred mumming wrapping. I did plan it that way. You should have seen all of a sudden I looked up and it was just smoke. I'm like, stop. I'm going to move these out of your guys' way so there's not shining on there. What type of paper, Lisa? TYEK. You said I don't know what kind of paper that is. So I'm just going to take some of these little bits. Oh, first, we got to add a few more pieces here, glue here and there that it's not sticking. It might be because it's a little wet. I have a block here. See if I can add a few more of these fun paper and just kind of tuck them under. And then we'll add some googly eyes. We got to figure out what we want it to say. I'm thinking I know what I might want it to say. So I have a little bit of the tape showing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap, because it's okay if we have some of the edges showing, but I do want the edges to be a little bit more, I don't know if organic, I think is the word I'm thinking of. So I'm going to try to tear them so they don't have perfect edges. Hello, Anne-Marie. How are you? I tried to start a fire, Anne-Marie, a little bit. I was drying my fiber paper and I almost caught it on fire. I'm not going to worry too much about the extra. I have extra of this paper, but I just Anne-Marie took some of the fiber paper that we have, and I just colored it up with some inks and some sprays, and now I'm just kind of tearing it and making some fun additions to my card. And then we got to add some googly eyes, and so a saying. I do want the edges to kind of be down, so I am trying to push those down. If they're a little bit here and there, like these pieces aren't quite as, I don't care if the edges I want down, but I don't care if these pieces are kind of frayed. So we're going to grab another piece up here. There we go. So I think we're doing pretty good. Might throw one more piece of, I don't want to cover up too much of that fiber paper there. All right. I like this part. So, I mean, okay, it's not sticking now. It's a little, like I said, wet. I didn't have extra pieces to get some done ahead of time. So where are you in lives crafting? All right, we're going to leave that sit. I'm just going to leave these kind of sit here in case I decide I want to add a little more later. We got to get some googly eyes here now. And I'm thinking we have just enough time that I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use Boo for the sentiment. So let me go over here quick. And I'm going to grab this is just a long, it's for mailing, but it has fibers. I use it when I don't know, Lisa, you could try it. You know, try, if it tears apart, I would say, why not? This is called Quinn's Capital. It's from Lawn Fun. I don't know if it's still available, but it's like the perfect size. We're just going to cut out a Boo. We're going to put that down here. And I think what we'll do is we're going to grab, I have some black paper here. And we're going to do some heat embossing with it quick. Because my favorite Halloween embossing paper powder is the Scowleen. So if you haven't seen that yet, I want you to see it. This is the Scowleen embossing powder. And it's tear proof. Well, maybe if you try cutting it with your scissors, you know, you can do it a little bit. Or rough it up maybe with a scissors or a distressor. I don't know. It'd have to be interesting to try. Here is the Scowleen. It's kind of hard to see. It's got some green, some purple, and some black, some glitter in it. So we're going to go ahead and make some Scowleen letters. And I think we're going to do, this piece looks bigger, so we'll use this one. I'm going to heat emboss it, cut it out, and then we're going to heat emboss it again. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that it gets really nice and thick. So I'm just going to go ahead, throw a bunch of embossing ink down on, I am going to use black cardstock because it shows up really, really nice on black cardstock. And I think we'll use this side of it on my paper. So here you can kind of see before it dries, the sparkle. I'm trying to catch my light. This next year, I'm going to have to figure out a better lighting situation, I think, for my setup here. I have a very dark room. I haven't checked to see if I need new light bulbs, though. It is pretty, Ellen. I got it by my Create Your Own Ending, so just heating it up on my arm a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead. And this is one with glitter that you can go from below first if you want to melt it so that it doesn't fly everywhere. You can kind of see it melting. It's kind of up to you. I don't really care if I throw some glitter everywhere. But some of the glitter and my triple thick will throw pieces, so it's better to kind of melt it from below, depending on, once it starts to heat up and sucks in that glitter. Okay. So I'm only going to do one coat to start because I want to be able to die cut it out okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut out the Boo. And then we will do some more heat embossing and do like a couple different, I'll show you the way I like to heat emboss when I'm doing a full panel of something. If you didn't want to use Scowleen, you could use the Raven or the Raven Sparkle if you don't want to add another color, but I think the Scowleen is really fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I made 8 Halloween cards for a friend this weekend using it. Looking for my pick tool. Yeah, I think it's just easier to buy the fiber paper from, and you know, and I'm not sure if you get 6 how many pieces you get. I ordered some a long time ago, and I had some and I used it, and then I just had a couple that came with some of my design team. I need to order some more. I kind of forgot about it because it's really fun until I see it, and then of course I'm like, well, I need to order that, and then of course it's just like everything else. You go to order, and there's always something that you forget. So it is on my list to order some more. I might order 2 or 3 packs just so I have it. I said I don't think I have any. I usually keep all my specialty papers in a specific container, and I don't see any. So I'm thinking I must need to get some. Like my aqua pigment paper or my heat resistant vellum or my heat resistant acetate. I keep all of those usually in a different container. So, okay, so there's our boo. So now this is where I'm going to use this piece of paper a couple different ways. I'm actually going to get another piece of paper. We're going to have, this is just a scratch piece of paper that I use to stamp out some ink swatches for someone who wanted some color shows. And I'm going to use this to put my ink on. And then I'm going to use, I got to find the tweezers here because I do not want to burn my fingers. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm not worried about doing the whole thing. And this little thing, we can just dip it in. And then it gets a little thicker is why I like to do it more than once with my letters. What does the tool? This is this is from Tailored Expressions. It's her, I don't know if it's called the Pokey tool. There's a couple of them on the market. I think Christopher uses his Pokey tool. I think it's from Gina. Okay, hers is white. It's got the wax tip on the one end, and it's got the Pokey on the other. I got it at Taylor Stamp Joy last year, but it is available. Yes, yes, it is. Oh, since Heather loves it, yes, I should. Um, like I said, I think this one might go to my daughter, but I should make a card with a witch on it and say it's Scowleen. So now what I like to do is I like to heat up my embossing powder and dip it, and then dip it back in when it's kind of hot. And you can go ahead. It does make a little bit bigger mess, but you can do that so that it adds, and it makes it just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get my hand under there so it'll focus. It's a little thicker. It's hard to see on camera, but it is a little bit thicker than it is normally. So one way I have found from having to ink and ink and ink and ink is to heat it up, get some embossing powder, heat it up, and then dip it in the embossing powder right away, especially if you're doing a full piece where you're holding it with a tweezers. So I'm going to undo this again. And then, like I said, now that it's hot, I'm just going to dip that edge back in one more time. And I'm going to go ahead and it just thickens it up just a little bit. And then I will see if we can see the difference between the two. It's on black, so it's probably going to be hard to see. Bring it up a little. If you can see, this one is, no, it's not good. It's not going to, I don't know if my light will. No, it's too hard. I apologize. I guess you can't. Maybe I can try to get it with my camera. But it's very thick. This is just kind of a thin, it even looks like it's missing some sides of it, where this is very thick and smoother. You know how embossing powders can be not so, can kind of look bumpy. So that is my little trick for doing that. It works really well with like the Raven. If you want to make it, and if I do it 3 times, it almost looks like patent leather. This has glitter in it, so it's not going to be quite like that. I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. Dip it back in. Heat it back up. And I let it sit. And Maria, I would give a couple if the same Mary Ransom lady sends me one with my order every time. I have to ask her to stop sending them, and she keeps sending them to me. Yeah, I have a couple, and I have a girlfriend who gave me one of these that has the wax tip. This is from a jewel picker on Instagram, or not a jewel, but you know, the diamond dots. And I believe the whole thing is wax, so you just sharpen it. But I like to have an all-in-one tool, and I really like the pokey tool like that. But I will tell you what I've done is I have two, because I think there's two or three companies that have these. I put washi tape on the end. Oops, see, they're on the wrong side. That has my pokey tool. So that way I always know which one it's on. Uh, You could probably put a glue dot on, or an enamel dot on one end, but that's how I just distinguish that for myself. I'm going to go ahead and ink these up so I can get these all with my ink one last time here quick. And then we'll heat these and we'll get moving on with our card. I like the white wax end because I tend to, with the black end, I tend to make a mark on my card. So I try to use the, all right, so there we've got two. I'm going to dip it in one more time to make it a third. I learned this trick actually from Jennifer McGuire. It makes it, just like I said, a little bit more thin. And if you ever find that when your tweezers puts a little hole, so like, okay, that has some stuff on it, then you can just go ahead and dip it in quick. And that will cover it. That little divot. All right, we're going to do one more little section here. Excuse me. I'm kind of still recovering from a cold. All right, we got this last little section here. You also have to be careful not to accidentally set your heat tool towards the embossing powder, or it will go everywhere. I have done that on a couple of times. I actually had to get my vacuum cleaner out this weekend because I did that. So you use your crystal content on your rhinestone shoes because, and I had to clean because that glue built up, so that I kept my tools separate from doing cup shoes. And yep, that I can understand that. That's, I do have a couple of them. Um, I tend to, this is the one I tend to use the most. I think, yeah, I have another one. So I have another one back here that's like the same, just a different color. And once again, I have the, but I always try to keep one handy and keep one clean. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start building our card. So it's not, like I said, we had a little bit of edge on this, so we're going to cut those off because I do want them to be kind of more the same. All right. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to keep the dirtier parts down towards the bottom because I figured that would be kind of where your mouth would be, right? And yeah, the other day, and I went to get the vacuum cleaner and knew the dog was going to freak out, but I was like, there was embossing powder everywhere, and I couldn't just wipe it up. I'm like, I need to get it. I need to suck it up. But I had to clean a bunch of stuff up, so I didn't suck up anything off my desk, too. So there, this is one of those pre-cut card bases from Brutus Monroe. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And then we're going to go ahead and get our googly eyes out. Now here's one where you could be a little bit, you could get, these are the circles. If you wanted to put them on white, get to cut some small ovals out. These were from the O, but I lost an O here somewhere. Where did we put it? Uh-oh. We sent one, there it is. We sent one flying. So we've got our boo. And now we need googly eyes. I'm thinking, see, this would be fun, but these are not googly eyes. So we're going to go ahead and put the googly eyes on there. I'm going to see. So these are my plain googly eyes, you guys. Get one of those. Yeah, I probably should. I probably should. I just haven't. I have these googly eyes. Oh, that one's yellowy. Well, I don't know if I want that one. It must be an old one or from a different container. They need to be at least somewhat the same. They've got little, I think the little tabs on them are to hold them when you're putting them down. I've got these eyes that we can use, or I've got these fun colored eyes. Oh, thank you. So you guys have to help me decide. If I don't know if I have the same colors, but we have these fun googly eyes. See if we can find, I think there might be blue, which if I do send this to my, yeah, I have blue ones. I have blue ones and I have pink ones in the big color shape, and I have yellow. What do you guys think? I don't know if I like the yellow. I'm thinking the blue. What do you guys think? Let's see, I'll bring it up a little closer. There's our color choices. Let the camera get caught up here a little bit. My screen kind of froze. But I can see that we're live on there. That's weird that the screen is frozen. What do you guys think? Yellow, blue, or the orange? Or regular? Blue? I see one blue. I see two blue. Hi, Luann. All right, blue or black? We're gonna go with the blue. We'll go with the blue. And we're gonna have to tuck in. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck in some more fabric around them. So let's go ahead and grab, I am going to use some Barely Arts glue again. And we're gonna add a big dab of those down. And then, thanks for the good call on Ellen on the purple would have been fun, but I think I saw that they're not quite as big. So we're gonna go ahead and add the blue, and then when outside, I think I'll probably find some sort of happy birthday sentiment to put on the inside if I decide to send this card to her. I did see, I don't know if you guys know, but on the Brutus Monroe page, I think it was on the fan club page as well, there is a lady, I don't have the know of her name, but she is like an adopted grandma to Brutus Monroe, and she helps in the store, and they are collecting birthday cards for her at the store. I think her birthday's the 28th. So you can do that. Also, you can also, don't forget, you can join the challenge. I'm going to go ahead and tear a couple of these pieces now that are done to reuse. The challenge on the Brutus Monroe fan club page this month is spooky colors. Does not have to be a spooky card, just spooky colors. So black, white, yellow, orange, green, purple, things like that. So Grandma Bunny, thank you. Yes, Grandma Bunny. I should have looked it up earlier, as you know, a bunch of stuff kind of going through my head to look up before my live tonight, and I didn't get that far. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down. It's going to take a minute for this to stick because it's a little bit damp yet. I think we're going to grab another one of the brown ones here. We'll tear that down a little bit. We'll add a little bit more. And I think you can just keep adding. So if you want to send a card to her, they will collect them for her and give them to her for her birthday too. So it's nice to have these blocks. I think if you had to, you could also use some tear tape or double-sided tape. But I find if you just make sure you kind of push it down and hold it, it works. So I think we're doing pretty good here. I don't know if I'm going to do too much more. Just another little piece of white. This is the dirty side, so we're going to do this side here like that. Kind of let it sit up a little bit. The edges, because this is that's kind of the fun part about this textured type card. Is making sure it's kind of sticks up. And there we go. Did blue, oh, one red, blue. I didn't have red, it was orange. But I already got the blue ones down. So sorry about that, you guys. We can do one red, one blue one on another card, or I can try to make another one. So There we go. Okay, this isn't sticking too much, so I'm going to have to stick something heavy on this and let it dry overnight, I think. Um, I'll push that down. So I hope this was fun and a little bit different for me. I just used some of the fiber paper. I didn't really use any of the subscription products this week. Um, but I do have the dyes for the ties. They came, and I should have the vintage spray next week, so we can use some of that. Um, but I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I'll bring this up a little closer so you can take a look. This is aqua pigment paper and fiber paper that I colored with smushing and direct to paper and blending and all sorts of stuff, spraying, so you can have some fun texture. And I made a fun Halloween card, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night. We will see you soon. Thank you, you guys. And I will see you next week, okay? Have a great rest of your night. Bye, everybody.